I'm James Baker, and today I'm discussing public relations in 2012, understanding the practice of PR. The purpose of this presentation is to explain the importance of public relations in a contemporary context. The target audience of the presentation is for small businesses who may need some extra information about this topic. This presentation aims to look at the emerging trends in public relations and to highlight the importance of PR in 2012. In recent times, public relations as a discipline has evolved significantly. In 2012, a public relations practitioner must consider many different aspects of the discipline, including internal and external communication, community relations, and the emerging trend of social media. What is PR? Well, let's have a look at some definitions. The Public Relations Institute of Australia says that PR is the deliberate, planned, and sustained effort to establish and maintain mutual understanding between an organisation and its publics. And another definition we have here is from the Public Relations Society of America, which says that public relations helps an organisation and its publics mutually adapt to each other. So you can see the contemporary view of PR focuses much more on interacting with publics rather than a one-way traditional form of communication. Let's have a look at the traditional view of public relations in comparison with the contemporary context. Some of the aspects I have highlighted here include one-way communication and influencing public opinion. So it's clear that the traditional view of public relations is not a two-way engagement model between the organisation and the various publics that it interacts with. It's very much about one-way communication and propaganda, as I've said here. Press agentry has also been highlighted in the traditional view. The thought is that a large part of traditional PR is getting messages across to the media and pitching story ideas, which also ties in with influencing public opinion. Think about the implications for small business though. Is this approach valid, and will it lead to a sustainable competitive advantage? In the literature, two-way symmetric communication is held up as the idealistic form of public relations. However, you do need to balance the interests of stakeholders with an organisation's self-interest. Obviously, it's important to remember that public relations is a function of management and it's there for a reason, not just to make all of the stakeholders happy, but also to pursue an organisational objective as well. So it is important to at least keep that in mind when looking at the contemporary public relations approach. The contemporary approach to public relations sees the organisation sitting amongst a range of internal and external stakeholders, or publics as they are known. In this example, you can see that the organisation sits amongst its employees, customers, interest groups, government, the media, and the general public, and all of these different stakeholders have an influence on the approach to public relations and the interactions between the organisation and these groups. This approach is all about managing communication during responses to change in the external environment and from the stakeholders identified previously. And it's about engaging and communicating in both directions with these stakeholders in order to best manage the communication and best manage the response during such change. As mentioned, the contemporary public relations approach sees the discipline as having an elevated importance within the organisation. And that's highlighted by the excellence theory, which says that public relations is a unique management function that helps an organisation interact with the social and political components of its environment. It is interesting to note that public relations roles exist in a variety of different types of businesses, including government, the community sector or non-profit organisations, as well as public and private companies. Depending on the size and the nature of the organisation, the public relations function could be an entire department or an individual position. In the case of small non-profit organisations, public relations could be bundled with other aspects of communication, including media relations, community engagement, those sorts of things as well. Some of the examples of job titles found online for PR roles include Marketing and Public Relations Manager, Public Relations Consultant, and a Community Relations Officer. Let's have a quick look at an example of public relations work. Now this position is for the Marketing and Public Relations Manager at the University of Adelaide. And it says as part of the job description that the applicant would need to develop marketing, public relations and communication strategies as part of the university. Now, what are the implications of this type of PR role for small business? Well, in any business, it is important to have an effective marketing, public relations and communication strategy. And that's the same whether it's a university or a small business, as we're discussing today. As a result, you can see the value of the public relations position in a small business in order to really focus and develop these particular areas to maximise the competitive advantage or success of the small business. Now let's have a look at the social media landscape and how social media impacts on small business. As you can see on this slide, there's a significant number of different players in the social media landscape. The main players would definitely have to be Facebook and Twitter. However, you can see the LinkedIn, Flickr, all sorts of different websites are listed there as well. Social media has certainly proven to be popular with consumers, but what you might be asking yourself is, do I need to worry about social media and what impact will it have on my business? Well, let's have a look at a quick example to see the power of social media and the influence it can have over consumers, potentially the damage it can do to your organisation. Here is the Facebook page for Dick Smith Electronics, a popular electronics retailer. And if you scroll down the page a short way, you can see there's a great deal of negative commentary about Dick Smith on the Facebook page, especially in relation to a botched sale that it ran recently where staff were allocated stock ahead of customers, and there was a great deal of customer resentment there. You can see the negative implications for the public relations of Dick Smith because of the negative public image that's been spread around. And you can see just one example of that on the comment here to the right from a particular customer. So customers are becoming quite dissatisfied, and through social media they are able to readily and quite easily express their concerns, which is something that the public relations function would like to minimise as much as possible. These types of public relations disasters can happen to both small and big businesses, so therefore it is important to be in the game of social media, otherwise your small business will not be able to monitor or respond to such criticism. Social media also has the advantage of allowing small businesses to compete on a level playing field with their larger competitors. To tie this in with our discussions about public relations, social media allows for barriers to communication with stakeholders to be reduced. Organisations can then foster relationships with publics and stakeholders. It is therefore vital for small business to be involved with social media. Without being in the game, small businesses will not be able to monitor the feedback, positive or negative, from their clients, and they are missing a great opportunity to improve their overall public relations. In summary, today we have discussed an introduction to public relations. We've had a look at traditional versus contemporary views of PR, looked at some PR roles and the types of roles you would find in varying organisations, and we've also examined the importance of social media in public relations in 2012. Well, that's it for now, but if you'd like any more information on any of the topics that I've discussed today, you can visit the Public Relations Institute of Australia website at pria.com.au. Thank you for watching. Bye for now.